Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. So today will be one of them update videos, the kind of main topics that I see out there for Cardano right now. In other videos throughout this week, I'll dive deeper into some of the individual topics as well. We'll take a look at the congestion on the network. Cardano 360 happened last week. We'll talk about the latest updates there. What is the next scalability solutions we're going to see? Sundaeswap, the most common questions I'm getting there, I'll cover them. We see other projects coming out to launch on Testnet and on mainnet as well. I'll touch on some of them. The Meld Airdrop has happened. Market's looking slightly better as well. What I'll do is I'll put timestamps down below so you can jump to any section that you want to do. I will try and keep it quick though. And if you get value, please do share it out if you think others can benefit. Give it a like. Anything I missed or you want to see me discuss in other videos, let me know below. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. So let's jump into it. Okay, we'll start out here with the Cardano 360 event, and even before we get into that, we'll take a quick look at the load on the network. So you can see over the last hour, it's at 87%, and over the last 24 hours, it's at 85%. So down slightly from last week where we were consistently over 90%. But even if you're sending transactions on the network now, you will know that it is still a bit slow to get them out. Slightly better than a few days ago, but still not where we want to see it. So scalability solutions definitely are needed. In terms of wallets, Yoroi, I get a lot of questions on it. Personally, I don't use Yoroi anymore. It's just not reliable enough, too many sync issues, too slow, and it's just not something that I can recommend. For me, I get questions all the time from people worried about wrong balances showing in Yoroi or rewards not showing up. And I would say in basically all cases so far anyway, it has come down to sync issues with Yoroi, just that things aren't syncing up and all you can actually do is wait. For me personally, CC Vault is the wallet that I use now. Nami is also another very good wallet. Even these two wallets have seen delays in terms of getting transactions onto the network over the last week or two, but that is because there is just such volume trying to get out there. When you're using these types of wallets, what happens is all of the transactions from them go into the mempools for that provider, and then they try and get onto the blockchain from there, try and get into a block. We see some people going back to Dexs now because Dexs is a full node wallet. It runs on your desktop, so it has its own separate mempool, so you're not fighting with everyone else trying to get onto the network. Yes, it still does have delays, but in general right now, it will be quicker to send transactions from Dexs if you need to get something out. So looking at what is going to help us improve all of this. So in the Cardano 360 event, we had the usual team on, and we also had different projects that are building on top of Cardano on as well. So I'll put a link down below for anyone who wants to check that out. The main highlights that I took away from it are Cardano was meant to have 3 hard forks this year. There was meant to be one in February, June, and October. The February hard fork, it's no longer going to be a hard fork now. It's going to be a major release to set the foundations for the SIPs that are needed from a lot of the DApps are looking for specific SIPs. So we've talked about them previously, a lot of them in around scripts and optimization of smart contracts and where you don't have to include the scripts within every transaction. This will take a lot of the bulk out of transactions as well. But I'm going to do a full video on the scaling solutions for Cardano. I'll do that later this week, going through all the different solutions that are going to come there. So that's going to be February. June then is going to be the major hard fork. That's when we're going to get a lot of the SIPs that are really needed. We're also going to get the initial release of Hydra. So people who have looked into the long-term solutions for Cardano will probably have heard of Hydra as being one of the big scaling solutions that Cardano is looking at. So we should see the initial release of that in June, and they're doing that to see what impact it has on the network. We don't know how much it's going to improve it just yet, but over the next few months, we are still going to see improvements. I seen a message this morning. So in the video here, we were told we would get another block increase in Q1. I've seen posts this morning to say that the block increase should come over the next few weeks. I'm waiting to see the official announcements from IOHK, but I've just seen different discussions about it as well. It looks like they're going to get a lot more aggressive on the testnet in terms of the upgrades they're doing there, in terms of the increases there, and then rolling out the same kind of conservative ones they are on mainnet, and we'll see how that impacts the block propagation across the network. So that's kind of the main updates I took away from there. I'll talk more about the scaling later in this week, and I'll put the link to that below here if you're watching this video later on as well. Okay, so then on to Sundaeswap and what is the latest there. So I see lots of people talking about Sundaeswap is very split right now. People really like them, people really don't like them, a few stuck in the middle. I also see people talking about how they're not happy with the spotlight that IOG has shone on Sundaeswap for different reasons. Some because it shows favoritism, they say, to Sundaeswap, and others because with Sundaeswap launching, it's showing where the Cardano network is right now, and it's not where we want to see it. We want to see it that these types of DeFi ecosystems can really flourish. It is coming, it is going to get there. As well as that, for me personally, I think that Sundaeswap could have been anyone for IOG. They didn't really care who the project was. They just wanted a project to launch at big scale to see the impact on the network so they can work with them and try and figure out what all of the different DApps are going to need. As well as that, we see IOG are talking to the Cardano DeFi Alliance, talking to other DApps as well now to see what they actually need to make Cardano the platform for their DeFi protocols. So I'd say this is a big improvement from, say, a year ago. What I was seeing was it was IOG driving a lot of the direction of what was needed and where we were going. We do have the Cardano improvement proposals, but it's good to see them getting a lot more attention now and IOG working directly and listening directly to the DApps that are trying to build on top of Cardano. So in terms of Sundaeswap as well, look, Congestion definitely played a role in Sundaeswap launching. It wasn't the only issue. Look, it definitely wasn't a perfect launch. I'm sure if they were doing it again, there's a lot of things they would do differently. Lots of things that didn't go right, things that did go right, things that didn't go right. For other DApps out there, what I would say is don't look at this as a failure or something that went wrong for Cardano. Look at what went well. Take that for your own launch. Look at things that didn't go so well, things that have been changed or things that could have been done better. Look at all of that type of stuff and use that when you're launching your own projects as well. Look, Sundaeswap right now, the actual DEX, if you were trading anything but the Sunday ADA pair, it seems to work fairly well right now. I'll get into that in a second though. We'll talk about rewards first because that is a common question right now. They have now put up a dashboard here where you can go in and put in your address, the address of the wallet you are staking for the ISO. When you put it in, you'll see how much is in that wallet and how much your estimated Sunday rewards will be per epoch. So when you come in here, you can see this one has 310 ADA. So per epoch, I will be earning around 1.25 Sunday. So it's not a linear equation as well. So it's not like if I had 3,000 ADA here that I would have 10 Sunday rewards for that. Because as the wallets get bigger, you get less Sunday per ADA staked. And that is to make sure that the smaller wallets do get Sunday and that the bigger wallets don't take the maximum or take the big majority of the supply. In terms of actually claiming your rewards, it will be done through drip drops from everything I've seen so far. So we're waiting to see. They have said there will be an article coming out with all of the details, the timelines on when the claim process can happen. I haven't seen that yet. Potentially that might come out today before I even get this video out. And if it is, I will link that down below. Drip Drops looks to be the platform they're going to use. So what you will do is go into Drip Drops and you select anyone who hasn't used Drip Drops. I'll do a tutorial as well to show you how to use it. You come in and put in your address, check my drops. And what happens then is you can see for this wallet here, it has 15 ADA staked to my pool. When you come down then, you see all the different tokens that you can claim here. So if you wanted drip, and let's keep going down the bottom then. So Sunday will appear here for people who have earned it through staking to ISO pools. So let's say beans as well. And you can take up to 10, claim my drops then, or agree to the terms, claim my drops. And what happens then is they give you an address that you need to send 4 ADA to. And what happens is you send 4 ADA, you will get back the tokens, whatever ones you have selected. These amounts will differ depending on how many tokens you're trying to claim, how many different types of native assets. So you can see I will get back 1.55 ADA plus all of the tokens I've claimed. The total cost then is here, and you can see the cost goes to Cardano transaction fees, Firehose processing fees, and drip drops. So I know some people were expecting the Sunday to drop into their wallet, but there was always going to be a claim process for the Sunday tokens because Sundaeswap aren't taking any rewards from the ISO. Everyone still gets their full ADA rewards, and then the Sunday tokens are an extra bonus on top. So when you are sending native assets with Cardano, you also have to, as well as paying the transaction fee of 0.17 or 18, roughly is the average, you also have to send some ADA with that transaction as well. So it's in around 1.4, and again, it depends on the size of the transaction, the number of tokens, roughly 1.4. So we'll say 1.6 ADA would need to be paid for every wallet that Sundaeswap were sending the transactions to if they were doing it themselves. So when you look on PoolPeak right now, there is roughly 312,000 wallets delegated to the ISO. So that would mean that they would need 1.6 ADA by 312,000 wallets, and that's per epoch. So that's also by 5. So that would be a massive amount of ADA that they would have to take out of their own pocket to send. So with this, it will be done, as far as I know, through drip drops. Once I get the update on that, I will let you know. So very quickly, just over on the actual Dexs then and some of the questions around that. So some people mightn't have seen this before, but the queue is there now. When you come into this, this tells you how many transactions are sitting in the queue waiting right now. So you can see that right now the Sunday ADA pair has 9,000 transactions sitting there waiting to be executed. It doesn't mean that they can all be actually executed right now, because some of them might be outside the order price that the person who submitted the order was willing to pay. I'll explain that in a second. You can see the Meld one as well has some starting to build up in the queue. Outside of Meld and Sunday, if you're doing any other transactions, they should be fairly quick on the Dexs right now. WMT, World Mobile, has a few, but I wouldn't expect that to take long to go through. So the reason that the reason that the Sunday pair has so many sitting in the queue is because there's probably a lot of them that can't actually be executed right now. And if you have an order that's sitting there waiting for a few days, I would say go back into your orders in here. I don't have an open order just at the minute, so I can't show you, but I showed it in the last video. When you see your order here, it will tell you the price that you said you were willing to pay based on the market price when you submitted your order plus your slippage. So then it'll tell you what the current price is, and then you will see over and around here, it'll say whether it's awaiting a scoop or whether it's out of the price range. If it's out of the price range, what happens is it just sits there as a limit order. So if the market price comes back into a price that you're willing to accept, then it goes back in and it can be processed as an order then. You do have the option to cancel as well. You'll see a button over on the right to cancel the order. So if your order is way outside the price range and you don't think it's going to come back there, then you have the option to cancel the order then at that stage. So you can see actually I have put in a yield farming position here as well. I'll talk about that maybe in another video. Things that really are needed, I want to see fairly quickly, are things like this, the stats in around this. I'd like to see them bring these out fairly quick so people can see what they're actually earning from the positions they put in. The same thing on the homepage here. If you look at the trading volume as well, things like this will really help people decide whether they want to get involved in providing liquidity, yield farming, everything like that, and make things a lot more transparent. So I'll dig into that in another video though. Okay, and then in terms of other dexes, we see ADAX went live on the mainnet this week. They actually skipped the testnet, which I think is a mistake, because what I'm looking around now and from using it myself, there's lots of little bugs coming up, and the UI, people are having issues with some parts of it as well. So as I said with Sundaeswap, that other projects can learn from what went well and what didn't go so well. With this as well, I hope lots of other projects look at this and see the importance of going onto a testnet first to get public opinion and find out how the community is actually going to use it. So right now there isn't that much liquidity on it, so I'm not going to do any trades here. I'll come back to it maybe in a few weeks because I get a lot of requests on it, but right now it's just not something that I will be using myself. They do have an order book model the same as Minswap, and as well as that they have straight swaps, but at the minute the swaps are limited. You can see here if I go to make a swap, I put in 200 and an exchange. Again, it has to be done in increments of 100. And you can see the limit right now is 100. I don't know if it's 100 ADAX or 100 ADA limit per swap, which at the minute just isn't scalable enough to use for the main market. So I'll keep an eye on it and see how it's going. I'll keep an eye on improvements because I do get asked a lot about it. But right now, there's a lot that needs to be improved on that. Another DEX that we've seen last week actually come on to testnet is Minswap, and I do have to say this one does look good. I'm going to actually do a full video looking at this, going through the process, how it's all working, and see what's there and what we might see before testnet. They've also got, I haven't brought it up here, have I? Here we go. So how to get rewards in the testnet for Minswap. So they are actually giving out some of the tokens for people who participate and give good feedback on the DEX, what's actually needed. So we'll look at that again in another video. But what you do is go in through their Discord and you can submit a form to give feedback on the DEX. And again, the amount of tokens that are given depends on how useful the feedback is that people actually give. Another one to keep an eye on, I would say, is Wing Riders. So I had a call with these guys yesterday. It wasn't an interview or anything like that. It was just a general information call to find out what they're doing, how things are going. And I am impressed with what they're doing right now. Putting out some good information as well, I would say, on the education side, which I really like to see. Articles here on concurrency. This one here caught my eye on the staking and smart contracts. So they have said from the start that when they launch, any ADA locked up in liquidity will also be able to be staked from the actual smart contract. So this is a feature that it's a really good feature on top of Cardano, where smart contracts, the funds locked in them can actually be staked as well. So they said from the launch, that should be available. They're looking at a Q1 launch. In terms of a token as well, they said the token sale won't happen until after the launch of the DEX, which is unusual for Cardano, that they are not for Cardano, for crypto in general, that they're putting the product first, and then after that people will be able to decide then if they want to get involved with the token or anything else at that stage. So we also seen the Meld Airdrop happened this week. So I had Ken on the channel a few weeks ago, so got a lot of questions on this. The airdrop has happened now, so the Meld should be in whatever wallet you staked with during the ISO, and they have their wallet set up here where you can come in and stake. I think staking is all you can do right now. I'm not sure when we're going to see more. Maybe in another while we'll have Ken back on to have an update on how things are going there as well. So just to wrap it up, in terms of the markets, looking slightly better since last week. Things weren't looking all that great. Over this week, things are starting to go a little bit better. We'll keep an eye on it. Look, for me personally, I'm watching Bitcoin to lead the whole market. If we look at the BTC USD chart, let's look at this on the daily. You can see moving up here towards the 41,000 level. So 41,000, 40,900 is where I'm watching right now to see, can we get up to this? I would expect a lot of resistance in around this level. We've talked about it before that when we get in around this level here, the last time we broke down, this was the resistance point that we struggled to get up through. When we got up through it, it then was support here. Nearly at this point, didn't quite come down to it. All in around here, it was resistance until we finally broke through. So when we get up to this level, if, then that's where I would expect to see the fight. Hopefully we can break through that and then reset that as support at that stage. So look, I'll try and do other videos looking at the markets and stuff like that as well. But this one here is just an overview of everything that's going on right now. Again, anything you want to see me talk about in other videos, let me know below. And thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Share it out if you think others can benefit. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.